Hi, I am Nick Hill, co-founder and CEO of Coast4C, a social enterprise that is integrating the world's largest supply chain for regenerative seaweed. I want you to take a moment to just reflect on what seaweed means to you. Is it the smelly stuff that washes up on the beach, an expensive health food extract, or does it conjure up images of burping cows? Seaweed is the beating heart of the Blue Revolution. It is unrivaled in its range of applications, offering sustainable alternatives for food, feed, fertilizers, and plastics. It is a $5.9 billion market, growing over 9% per year. Most importantly, seaweed can be produced without fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, land, or fresh water. Seaweed grows faster than any plant, can help to mitigate ocean acidification, carbon emissions, and nutrient runoff, and create habitat to restore marine life. So all good, right? Well, unfortunately not quite. Do you remember the algae biofuel bubble a decade ago? Millions of dollars of VC cash was poured into it, but the bubble burst when no one was able to achieve commercial scale. The challenge of scale is the single biggest problem facing seaweed in becoming a sustainable alternative for bioplastics, food, feed, and fertilizers. To gain traction in these markets, there is an urgency to demonstrate that seaweed can be reliably produced at scale. For example, Ulu have developed a really exciting carbon-negative biopolymer that has the adaptability to completely replace all petrochemical plastics with just 0.1% of the ocean under seaweed production. But 0.1% of the ocean is still 361,000 kilometers squared. So what if I now told you that there is already a pre-scale seaweed industry and knowledgeable labour force out there that has been ticking along for over 5 decades? This beautiful group of seaweeds, eukaryotoids, are in fact the world's most cultivated seaweeds. They are farmed exclusively by marginalized small-scale fishers in tropical countries. 85% of global production is in the Philippines and Indonesia, where it provides a critical and gender-equitable source of income for upward of 4 million people. For now, they supply the relatively modest $1 billion market for carrageenan, a binding and texturizing agent used in all sorts of everyday products from toothpaste to ice cream, dog food, and cosmetics. Eukaryotoids have typically been overlooked as a sustainable alternative for bioplastics, food, feed, and fertilizers for one reason: because it is hard to work with remote and marginalized small-scale fishing communities that have complex livelihoods. This challenge has resulted in a convoluted and opaque value chain and a highly fragmented landscape that has failed to invest in and nurture the industry's most important asset, small-scale fishers. In turn, this has driven bad practices that result in huge quantities of marine plastic waste, pollution, and declines of coral reefs, seagrasses, and marine biodiversity. It has also resulted in a race to the bottom in terms of seaweed quality that drives down prices, and a stagnation in R&D that is driving declines in yields in the face of climate change. So today, major carrageenan players such as Cargill, who have a commitment to sustainability through their Red Seaweed Promise, are really struggling to source quality seaweed with traceability and sustainability. For tomorrow's alternative bio-based markets such as Ulu's biopolymer, the provenance and impact associated with their seed stock, as well as scale of supply, is a crucial part of their story. This is where we come in. My co-founder Mads Blanco and I have been working with small-scale fishing communities all over the globe for a combined 5 decades. Mads invited me to the Philippines to do my PhD research on seaweed farming 14 years ago. Since then, we have been working with our team of 15 people on the ground in small-scale fishing communities of the Philippines to develop, test, and refine our solutions and networks. We are leveraging the demand in the carrageenan market for sustainable seaweed to generate revenues whilst we address the pain points in small-scale producer systems in preparation for tomorrow's markets like bioplastics, food, feed, and fertilizer. Over 50 years, it has been proven time and again that in seaweed farming there is no match for the skills and knowledge of small-scale fishers. We apply our own unmatched domain knowledge and connections to provide services and technology improvements that small-scale fishers badly need to sustainably increase yields and quality, building on this immense amount of human capital and removing the restraints on the world's 22 million small-scale fishers as our route to scale. Whilst we're focused on eukaryotoids, new species can be integrated into this growing network of skilled farmers as their markets develop. And on the way, we can create equitable livelihood opportunities for millions at the front line of climate change and help to restore the ocean. Right now, we have a highly efficient, inclusive value chain model using a hub-and-spoke structure that stretches to 35 villages and 2,500 small-scale producers and counting. This structure keeps value local, and our systems incentivize and reward pro-environmental behaviors. For example, we pay premium for seaweed to communities that are increasing the area of ocean under protection and reducing marine plastic pollution. We have increased the area of coastal waters protected from 1% to over 17% in our target areas and more than halved marine plastic pollution. Critically, these activities also provide a safe and healthy environment for seaweed to thrive and ensure that Cargill and our other key clients can source seaweed with a powerful social and environmental story. Our primary revenue stream at this stage is a sale of regenerative seaweed through our traceable value chain that we source from our network of suppliers. We shorten the value chain and leverage technology to create efficient logistics. We pay farmers a premium and still make a margin of 25 to 33% per container without having to depend on a price subsidy in the market. We are leveraging grant funding to extend our farm inputs package to a portion of our network as zero interest credit, whilst we generate data to inform a pricing model for this package. And working with partners, we have developed new green biorefinery technology that will allow us to process seaweed from multiple value streams. We are increasingly recognized as the gold standard in this space. We have developed strong client relationships with Cargill, who we have already started supplying, and with Ulu. We are being invited by funders, governments, and communities to replicate to other areas of the Philippines and into Indonesia. We were recently announced as a winner of the World Economic Forum Uplink Blue Food Challenge, and we were selected by the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity as the only seaweed case study within the 108 biodiversity positive practices and actions around the world. Now we are seeking $500,000 to reach a total target of $1.3 million that will allow us to scale up regenerative seaweed production to meet our Phase 1 targets with Cargill and Ulu and achieve financial sustainability by early 2024. Because at Coast4C, we know the seaweed industry could be making waves right now.